Conversation analysis is an area in applied linguistics and discourse analysis. First, the definition of it is the study of speech acts produced in genuine communication. The speech acts are the main unit in conversation analysis, and it's whatever achieves meaning verbally by words or non-verbally like body language. The speech act parts are locutionary act, which is the surface meaning, what the utterance or words mean by themselves. The allocutionary act, which is the intended meaning or hidden meaning, for example, an offer, a statement, a promise, a question, an apology, or an order, etc. And the third part is the perlocutionary act, which is the effect or force achieved on the listener, usually emotional, like to make someone happy by complimenting him, or to convince someone to do something, or to offend someone by insulting him. Now to the adjacency pairs. An adjacency pair is a sequence of a call and response communicated by two people. And here are some examples for you. As you can see, the adjacency pairs are on the left side, while on the right side you can see actual examples of using the pair in a conversation. In fact, you don't have to memorize all of these, just keep in mind the definition of them with, let's say, 3 examples also, and by reading many dialogues through time, you'd be able to identify the pairs in any conversation, unless the conversation itself doesn't have one. Now to the conversation regularities. They are conventions that interlocutors are expected to stick to, and they include adjacency pairs. It is closeness or degree of relationship, and it determines how much needs to be said in order to communicate. Because communication is not speaking only, you don't always have to say many words to communicate your intended meaning. Sometimes you just say one word and the other person understands you because he or she is close to you and knows what you mean by that word. Now to the said part and the unsaid part. In a conversation, there is always a said part, the utterances, and an unsaid part, which is the background knowledge, culture, and context. Next is the cooperative principle. It is the assumption that interlocutors try to be informative, truthful, clear, and relevant, and this depends on Grice's maxims or conversational maxims. The first one is the maxim of quantity, which is being as informative as possible, say no more and no less than required. The maxim of quality, which is truthfulness and honesty, don't say something that lacks evidence. And the maxim of relevance, which is relevance and context. And the maxim of manner, which is the way something is said. Don't be ambiguous, be brief, and be orderly. So the maxims are quantity, quality, relevance, and manner. Now to the context of situation. It is the extra-linguistic environmental features where interlocutors use clues as referential meanings or reference to a meaning. It consists of 3 components. The first one is the field, which is the subject matter or what's being discussed or what's happening, and it could be general or specific. The second one is the tenor, which is the interlocutors, and they can be either equal or unequal, according to their closeness and status. They can be friends, neighbors, strangers, or anything else. The third component is the mode, which is the channels of communication, spoken or written. Now to the cohesion. It is the relation of meaning between speech acts, and it uses what we call cohesive devices. Cohesive devices can be grammatical, including the conjunctions, which can be additive, adversative, causal, or temporal. The reference, which can be personal, like I, you, they, demonstrative, like this and that, and comparative, like equal, similar, different, and so on. Substitution, which is using other words to avoid repetition when we refer to the same subject or complement more than once. And ellipsis, which is removing a part from the speech because that removed part can be understood just from the context. Also, cohesive devices can be lexical as well, being a reiteration or a collocation. Next is conversational success. A conversation can be successful when all interlocutors get a chance to speak and they know their roles clearly, when to speak, when to tolerate the others, and when not to speak. Now to the conversational topic. The topic of a conversation should be safe. For example, the weather, pets, children, etc. and we should avoid unsafe topics like religion, politics, and health issues. Conversations maneuvers. They are sentences or phrases that we can use to start a conversation, to check if the other person is still following the conversation, or to change the topic of the conversation. To start a conversation, you can say, "Hey there, excuse me, good morning, can I help you?" And to check if the other person is following the conversation, we can say by the speaker, "Are you with me? Don't you think so?" Or by the listener, "Oh, really? Yeah, I guess so. I guess I'm following." And to change the topic, we can say, "By the way." To conclude it, we can say, "That's life." And if you want to end the conversation, you can say, "Nice talking to you." And these are just examples to understand the maneuvers. Now to the conversational turns. Turns in a conversation change by using linguistic clues, using words like so, anyway, it's your turn, and so on. Or paralinguistic clues, using the body movements, eye contact, intonation, and so on. The last part of the video is the aims of conversational analysis. The first one is to interpret meaning from speech acts. The second one is to understand how important the unsaid part of speech is in a communication and how it guides the communication. The third aim is to see how the context of situation helps interlocutors move coherently from a speech act to another while understanding each other, of course. And the last aim is to understand how misunderstanding happens between people. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching and stay safe.